Let's reconnect once again with Thabiso. Thabiso, you've been telling us about what's happening on your side of Krugersdorp, which is in Witpoortjie. What's the latest for now?
Well, you can see Desiree behind me. The police have kind of wind down operations here. As I said, they'll be taking most of, well, those who are being detained. I do not want to say arrested because we don't know what they'll be charged with. They have been taken through to the Krugersdorp police station, where I think then they'll be processed and more information will be gathered as far as what is happening to them. Why were they being attacked by the community, and the story will unfold from there. But it has been somewhat of a busy morning with regards to this area. On my right hand side, I'll say it again, is Mindelov, Witpoortjie side on the west end of Johannesburg, and then the left hand side is Krugersdorp. These communities live basically side by side. I mean, this is the first in my years living in this area that I've seen something of this magnitude. And it's not about vigilantism in a way, because it's both. It's not about whether it's a black community who are beating up black people. It's all communities who come out. I mean, this morning when I was there, it was literally colleagues from the local community police forum who came out and they had a chat with me, and they remember me because during the lockdown we worked very closely together with them, particularly with food handouts to people who couldn't buy food. But as you can see, it looks like traffic is now being open to go through Desiree. If you can still hear me, apologies to the noise for our viewers. But as I said, this road was previously closed. Well, it was closed about 5 minutes ago. Desiree, when I last spoke to you, on the other side or behind me, it looks like the traffic is being let through and things will start to get back to normality. That can be even a word to be used. But the question is, Desiree, as I asked earlier, will we see more sporadic scenes such as these? Will we see other, areas of the country, namely in the East Rand? Once again, I think it is important that we reflect on the conversation we had with Griselda, who covered these zamas extensively for SABC News, and learn lessons from there, and possibly pick up on where we could see something similar happening, and hopefully, we can preempt, the police, and we can preempt vigilantism if that is what we're calling it for now, Desiree.
Thabiso, so by all accounts, you can say to us that the shutdown is not happening or is not gaining momentum.
Well, I'm not going to call it a shutdown here, Desiree, because once again, remember, we're in two different areas, myself and Hasina. Hasina is inside Krugersdorp. We are on the outside Krugersdorp, on the neighboring suburbs, Mindelov, Witpoortjie, Krugersdorp area. So where Krugersdorp borders, well, in fact, Krugersdorp is literally in the midst of all these suburbs, if I can call it that way, that I've mentioned. So the shutdown might be still continuing inside, but this main road, which was closed, seems to be opening. As you can see, traffic does seem to be moving behind me. So as far as this area is concerned, I think it's going to be back to normal soon as the police have gained the situation. The police Impala has just driven off in front of me, going to the Krugersdorp police station. And as I can say, those trucks I mentioned, they are driving it through. I mean, Krugersdorp in itself, just behind me, Desiree, there's a lot of factories. There's the SAB manufacturing plant as well. So there's quite a lot of business that happens within Krugersdorp. Chamdo, there's a big butchery that most of us buy our meat here locally. So there's a lot of interaction with both sides of the community that happens within this area. Desiree?
Thabiso, is there concern amongst the community about what's going to happen once the hype dies down?
There's always that concern, isn't it? The issue is being vigilant, and as far as the community is saying. And I think what spoke of the desperation of all South Africans now is that you sleep with one eye open. You hear a sound, you're quick to try and make sure that it's not somebody breaking into your house. And it's not a nice way to live. Whether the community forums, such as in my area, will continue their patrolling, they'll continue to give us heightened, what I can call responses if anything does happen. That's, well, lucky for us. But then what happens to the less fortunate communities, if I can call it that way, in the townships, who don't have structured CPFs? What about them? And I think we can speak very nicely about whether these guys do a great job in the CPF. I think the people who need it the most is in the area where the rapes happened, within the areas and townships like Krugersdorp, who need more assistance, in particular more visibility with South African police services. In fact, when the police vans came to pick up the zamas from the community, most of them were shouting at the police saying, yeah, but I mean, why are you here all of a sudden? We've been coming to Krugersdorp police station. We've been coming to you to complain about things that are happening. All of a sudden, we've done your job for you. Now you come and take the glory. So it's a thin line that we need to work, Desiree. But mine is, I think we should warn against vigilantism, because you never know. Thabiso could have just been walking down the street and he could have been accused of being a zama. It's just one of those things. But again, it boils down to the rule of law and it boils down to what the South African police services are going to do about stamping authority and getting a grip on crime in the country. Desiree?
I know you spoke about having to sleep with one eye open, but just in terms of the way forward, are people getting a sense of some level of safety going forward, or not really?
No, look, early days. I don't think anyone can wake up now and saying the matter has been solved. We are shipping them out, or the zamas anyway. We are regaining our, our areas, our communities. It is a wait and see. It is a question of convictions. It is a question of, I understand there'll be a parade for the suspected rapists. And I'm assuming that if any of these people that were detained a short while ago, whether they'll form part of that parade, if those people have already not been, in a lineup, have already been identified. But so it's too early, Desiree. I think, though, the problem is the momentum is gaining in as far as citizens taking the law into their own hands. People are saying they're tired, and if the police cannot help them, they're going to help themselves. We just hope, as I said, it does not boil over into a situation where innocent people end up being, catching the brunt of being illegally accused or falsely accused anyway, and end up being beaten up and, God forbid, dead on the side of the road, being accused of being a zama of sorts.
Thabiso, I asked Hasina this question, and I'm going to ask you as well, that although there have been all these raids since the weekend and all these arrests, the only charges that have been stuck on these people is contravening the Immigration Act. There have been no linkages to the actual event, but this is the police stance. What's the community saying? What conversations are taking place in the community about knowledge of who these people are?
Well, that's the difficulty, isn't it? As I was saying, so maybe from the number, the 12 or so that were arrested, detained here, I'm going to try and keep away from the word arrested, because they have not been arraigned. No charges, as far as I stand here, have been set against them, if any. The only thing that the police can have them, once they prove that, of course, they're not South African nationals, then the Immigration Act comes in. Once they prove that they were mining, or they were illegally mining, that then those charges can come in. What we did see, that there was a second police car, obviously with the tools, spades and other bags that was put in there. Unfortunately, I've got in a bit later. I think they'll be tested, they'll be checked out, will work as evidence, I assume, and then maybe those charges will then be put together. In as far as the rape is concerned, I think that's why I mentioned, Des, it's going to be a time for those charges, if any, to stick, because then there has to be an identity parade. Those who were assaulted will have to come out and say, this is my assailant. So it's early days now to try and make assumptions whether these arrests or these detainees will be part of those, or will be linked to the rape of those young ladies the past couple of days. But it's just a question of wait and see, and let the police do their work for now. And I think let's not try and jump the gun a bit. And as far as the community members around here are concerned, they're going to clean up their streets, and if the police jump in and assist, so be it. They're going to dig them out from every hole they find them and make sure there's no zamas in their neighborhoods. And it's just one of those things, Desiree.
And as we wrap up our conversation, at least from where you are matters safe and people can move around?
Yeah, indeed. As you can see, earlier when they came in, you saw the roads were blocked. Apologies, I hate shooting against the sun because you get the reflection. But as I said, the road there behind me, you can see it is fairly fluid now. Traffic is moving, so trucks are going to, it's going to be well. I think it's business as usual, anything of the sort. But the road has been opened up and people are making their way. The groups of people that are here earlier when I arrived have left. And it looks like, yes, traffic is going to, it's going to be a question of going back to normality, in particular in this area. I think maybe Hasina is where the action, inverted commas, is going to move to, in particular when those who were detained behind me go to that police station. I think we need to keep an eye on there.
One of our senior managers is commending you for the usage of mobile journalism, not waiting to have a camera and just using your phone to bring a story to the nation. Thabiso Sithole, thank you so much for the effort and the information. And of course, Thabiso Sithole there saying that he is in the Witpoortjie side of Krugersdorp, where Hasina Gori was coming to us from Kagiso Extension 8 on the R28, where there was a blockade there. Of course, SABC News will continue to bring you latest developments on the story.